Yo, what's up guys, your boy Nitrostorm here, welcome back to Snowbreak Containment Zone. If you can hear from my voice, I am a little bit feeling under the weather, but that's fine. What we're here to be talking about right now is just a few things. So the first thing would be regards to Midnight Patrol, and how this event made me realize how good the 5-star Chenxing might be, and how she might be a character that will age really well in this game, as in she might actually potentially be relevant basically all the time. So quickly go through this. So I did go through this very quickly. You can think of this kind of like a roguelite. You choose which path you go to, following the lines that you can see here, and then you can get buffs along the way, and then you finish challenges or go to the greens for the shops where you can choose to purchase things. And in this case, it's random. For the first purchase, it can either be Chenxing or Wild Hunt. But in any case, the very last stage of this, so you have to go through 3 of these 3 times, and on the third one, the last stage, is the boss stage, aka the critical battle, sorry. And this battle involves a pretty large boss, right? And what I realized from it is that when I used the 5-star Chenxing, right, let's quickly go over her stats over here. So if you quickly go over her skills, I mean, when I was using the first skill, right, this part here, the part where you can mark up to a certain number of targets, 8 if you have the neural skill upgraded, it was actually marking different parts of the boss's body. Now what this means is, I mean, even though you do get a decrease in 30% in damage with each slip in the detonation, you still get overall AoE damage to multiple parts of the enemy's body, as well as the initial hit dealing the normal damage, right? So keep that in mind as well. So I thought about this, like, this had me thinking, because what this game is about so far when it comes to battles is that you either have a lot of enemies, right, at once, which 5-star Chenxing is good at because she can mark up to multiple targets, and then shooting one will essentially hit all the other ones, of course, albeit with decreasing damage every time. However, that can also be applied to bosses that have multiple multiple body pieces, if that kind of makes sense, like different parts of the bodies that can be damaged separately. Chenxing can actually target all of that at the same time, dealing damage upon hit, as well as when you shoot one of the parts, all the other parts also get damaged, albeit with lesser damage. Now, obviously, just to bear in mind, the trial Chenxing that you get in the event has the Chenxing at Manifestation 5. However, if you've been taking a look at these manifestations, it's technically just damage increase, not necessarily an affection, not necessarily things that affect her gameplay, right? Like for example, for 5-star Yao, her first manifestation basically changes the way you play her. There's nothing like that here for Chenxing. I guess you could argue for not really, yeah, none of these are just all damage increases. But in any case, now let's move on to the next part, why I believe that Chenxing will age well in this game. Well, as I've mentioned before, either fight a lot of enemies or bosses, and then if they're large enough, they'll have multiple weak points, and then there's always going to be enemies like that in the future, regardless of upcoming banners. So she'll always be useful in that scenario, and she can focus on like a main enemy, whilst the other marked enemies that you hit with her standard skill will also get some of that damage, helping with a little bit of crowd control. But yeah, that's pretty much about it. My thoughts on her ultimate skill is still the same. But you can have different ways of making sure that the enemies stay within the zone. And it's not like the zone itself is small, it's actually a pretty, sizable zone. So you're not going to have too much of a difficult time unless the enemy just jumps around, right? But yeah, mainly because of that, I didn't want to make this video too long, but that is just me mentioning this major part here. Uh, Mainly because there's like 3 days left, and for those still thinking about pulling Chenxing, I really think that she is going to be a long-term character, someone that you can rely on, someone that's very trustworthy when it comes to needing to complete content, because she is good for multiple mobs as well as large bosses. Now, obviously, if the boss doesn't have that many parts, well, that just basically means that the boss would most likely be easier to fight, and so Chenxing would still have an easier time, and so will the other characters. So it's not really a minus if the boss doesn't have many targetable parts. But yeah, that's pretty much about it. Just wanted to share this with you. This is from my experience playing her in the new event. As I've mentioned, her dupes don't really do much, and obviously she does have her weapon as well, but that weapon is also just for more damage. But yeah, you can take it at you as you will. Take what I've said with a grain of salt. I just believe that her mechanics, the way that her standard skill works, is very useful, and it's very flexible, and it can adapt to essentially all sorts of situations in terms of what this game has to offer currently. So yeah, that's pretty much about it. If you've got any more questions in regards to Chenxing or Snowbreak Containment Zone in general, do let me know down in the comments below. Or if you got anything else to ask, be sure to send it down below as well. This has been your boy Nitrostorm. I'll see you guys in the next stream or video. Peace.